Hong Kong simply riding a crest of IPO success. What do you think is driving this, and how difficult really is it going to be to keep up this momentum?
That's a great point, and I would say the biggest driver is momentum, right? It had it a handful of years ago. I think Hong Kong, the market coming off of a strong 2025, it's raised nearly over plus, in Hong Kong dollars, $300 billion across 114 IPOs, as you mentioned. So I think the rebuild of the confidence, both from the investor side and the issuer side, is where the momentum is coming from. And I think the other piece to this too is there now becomes a backlog of companies that were waiting for the volatility to kind of go away. And so what happens behind that is the improved liquidity, the cross-border capital flows. It's kind of a nice little formula that creates a healthier IPO environment. And then to me, it feels less like a rebound, but more like a reset.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's a good way to phrase it. And this success is really remarkable any way you slice it. Let's look at the numbers. $37 billion in new listings, as we talked about, reclaiming the top spot in global IPO market earnings. How significant is this, and what does it really do to the reputation in that area of Asia?
Yeah, I think it's important. If you think about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even probably during COVID, like this, I don't want to use up and coming. People were looking to where else they can diversify different markets, right? And so, to me, I think you see tech companies going public this year, especially 40% of their currently IPOs is technology innovation led, and you think about the region, you think about where all the policies around that and manufacturing, it hits all of the top things that are, I want to say, on fire, but semiconductors, AI, biotech, even advanced manufacturing. I mean, these are notable companies, and I think the timing back to this is less about volume, more about the maturity of these companies now that have been waiting to kind of come into the market at the right time.
Yeah, let's talk more about that, because as you talked about, there were concerns just a matter of years ago about Hong Kong's economic future. Talk more about this IPO success and what it tells you about that, and how it keeps this momentum going and continues to become the economic juggernaut of this region.
Yeah, no, this is what's key here, right? Is the trust and confidence. And so if you're the Hong Kong public market, right, one of the challenges for any company coming into the market would be competition, but for companies and for the market specifically, stronger disclosures, better governance, the valuations are more quality driven market versus rushing to the market to IPO and then hoping to see where the success is, right? When you start to build a lot of high quality companies with numbers that continue to actually execute on the financial, Sean, it breeds confidence. And I think that's what's a little bit different this time than in the past. And it still has to do these things. I'm not saying that it's all great, but I think it's set up much better than before.
Let's talk about how the mainland's economic policies are helping drive this as well. No surprise that AI is certainly fueling a lot of these IPOs, but these other sectors are just as important. Healthcare, because China's making a big effort to open up and welcome more healthcare investment from abroad within the country, and also new energy, because China clearly the leader right now in new energy globally. So how important is this going to be to IPOs moving forward?
Oh, it's huge, right? I mean, that's how you're set up when you think about advanced manufacturing and AI. You mentioned these are the things that the policies are driven for to support innovation, right? You have to support these sectors. It's not just being able to just throw money at these things. There has to be a policy around it that these companies need the global capital. And obviously, Hong Kong would then become the natural venue for this. I think the second piece of this, too, beyond the investors, I think there's also scalable, to add to that list that you mentioned, I think scalable consumer brands, and you mentioned renewable energy, but the logistics piece tied to regional trade, right? Keep thinking about global, and obviously that's where the biggest market cap number comes from, but there's a lot of opportunity in the regional trade logistics side as well, and I think that could be a potential gain as well.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head when you talk about the support that these companies do get. And if you look at new energy, how important that is globally, and you look at the United States under the Trump administration pulling back dramatically from this, it just seems like the Hong Kong area is certainly ripe for more investment, more money to pour into that area, because that's where the growth is.
I mean, here's the competition, right? Like investors look at all markets, right? So where they're going to move their capital where they feel like is the best ROI for them. I'm just being very honest, right? And see where the highest growth is. And they're going to evaluate companies in the U.S., China, Europe, other parts of the world to see where they think they get the longest, the longest return. And as of right now, you mentioned it should be trust, easy to do business, policy, and really, trade policies also being very dynamic, right? They just want a secure stability around how they invest. So to your point, you string a couple of these successes together, and it provides confidence for people to move their money across different borders.
There's